Some days, you just strike gold. Not the kind you can spend, but the kind that makes your heart race and your mind wander back in time. It was a Tuesday, one of those days when the sun streams through the windows just right. I was helping my neighbor, Mr. Henderson, clear out his attic. A favor that had turned into a bit of an adventure. He was moving to a smaller place, and the attic was packed to the rafters with boxes, old furniture, and forgotten keepsakes, everything coated in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs that seemed to have been gathering for decades. We found photo albums with black and white snapshots, clothes from another era, and little trinkets that told stories of a life well lived. Each item we uncovered felt like a window into the past, a glimpse of memories long tucked away. Then, in a dark corner, half hidden under a heavy canvas sheet, I spotted it. A box that looked out of place, solid and heavy, as if it was guarding something important. I pulled off the sheet, sending a cloud of dust swirling into the sunlight. When it settled, there it was, a vintage Royal typewriter from the 1940s, its keys silent but full of promise. Mr. Henderson's eyes softened as he saw it. He told me it had belonged to his father, a writer who would sit at that very typewriter every night, tapping away into the quiet hours. He couldn't remember the last time it worked, or even the last time he'd touched it. But he offered it to me, with a gentle smile, as if passing on a family secret. My eyes lit up. I've always loved a good challenge. There's something magical about taking something old, forgotten, and breathing new life into it. The thought of restoring this typewriter filled me with excitement. I carefully lifted the typewriter, feeling its weight and the solid craftsmanship. It was heavy, built to last, and I could almost hear the stories it had helped create. As I carried it down the attic stairs, I was already picturing it restored, shiny, clean, and ready to write again. I imagined the click-clack of the keys echoing through our home. To me, it wasn't just a machine. It was a piece of history. A story waiting to be told again. A bridge between generations. I could almost feel the presence of Mr. Henderson's father, his words lingering in the air. My wife, Kelly, saw me bring it in. She just smiled, shaking her head in that familiar way. She knows I can't resist a project like this, especially when there's a story behind it. Another one? She asked, half amused, half exasperated. I grinned back at her. This one's different, I promised, and I meant it. Every restoration is different, but this one felt personal. It was more than just fixing up an old machine. It was about reviving memories, honoring a family's legacy, and maybe even inspiring new stories. It was about bringing back memories for Mr. Henderson and honoring his father's passion for writing, making sure his words and dreams weren't lost to time. The real work was about to begin, and I was ready for it. There's nothing quite like the feeling of giving something old a new purpose, and I couldn't wait to see what stories this typewriter would tell next. Back at the shop, I put the typewriter on my workbench and took a good look. The black paint was faded, chrome parts rusted, keys sticky with decades of gunk. Some keys were jammed, the platen was cracked, and the bell was silent. The carriage return lever was stiff and grinding. This machine hadn't seen love in a long time, but I saw the potential beneath the grime. A beautiful machine, elegantly designed. Every lever, spring, and gear had a purpose. It was a mechanical puzzle, and I love puzzles. My dad used to say, "Look past the rust." That's what I was doing. I wasn't just seeing a broken typewriter. I was seeing memories waiting to be unlocked. It was time to get my tools out and start the teardown. Time to get my hands dirty. The teardown is careful work. You can't just yank things off. You need a plan. I gathered my screwdrivers, wrenches, and labeled containers for every tiny part. I started with the outer shell, unscrewing and lifting it off to reveal the machine's guts. Inside, it was a city of levers and gears, all filthy and gummed up with old oil. I took photos from every angle, my roadmap for reassembly. I removed the key levers, each connected to a type bar. Some screws were rusted, but patience paid off. I disconnected the carriage assembly, heavy and coated in grime. After hours, the workbench was covered in labeled parts. The typewriter was a skeleton. To most, it looked like a mess. To me, it was organized chaos. Progress. Now, the real cleaning could begin. Now for the satisfying part, cleaning. I soaked the small mechanical parts in mineral spirits, dissolving decades of sticky oil. While they soaked, I scrubbed the main frame and shell with a brush and degreaser, getting into every nook and cranny. Cotton swabs and toothpicks helped with the tight spots. After scrubbing, I dried everything with compressed air. No water left behind. The small parts came out of their bath shining, the goo gone. I polished the keytops by hand, restoring their ivory color and sharp letters. The chrome rings around the keys sparkled after a little metal polish. The keyboard looked 100 times better. Now, it was time to fix what was broken. With everything clean, I could see what needed fixing. The type bars were misaligned, so I gently bent each one back into place. Tiny adjustments, lots of patience. Some springs were weak after decades of use. I replaced them from my collection of vintage springs. The platen was rock hard and needed to be resurfaced by a specialist. While waiting, I made new rubber feet for the typewriter. I checked every moving part, making sure nothing was stiff or gritty. The cleaning had solved most issues, but now it was time for lubrication. I used a needle oiler to apply just a drop of high-quality machine oil to each pivot point. Too much oil attracts dust, too little, and things stick. It's all about balance. A typewriter is useless without a ribbon. The old one was dry and brittle, so I bought a new black and red ribbon. I wanted to keep the original metal spools, so I carefully re-spooled the new ribbon onto them. Threading the ribbon through the guides was like solving another puzzle. With the ribbon in place, the machine was one step closer to being alive. The fresh ink was ready. The typewriter was about to get its voice back. All the pieces were cleaned, fixed, and ready. Time for the most exciting step. Putting it all back together. This is the moment of truth. Reassembly. All those labeled bins and photos paid off. I started with the key levers and type bars, oiling each pivot as I went. The mechanism came back to life under my fingers. Next came the carriage assembly, sliding smoothly on polished rails. I connected the escapement mechanism, tested the space bar, click, click, perfect. The bell, margin stops, and return lever all went back in. The platen returned from the specialist, soft and grippy. I installed it and the typewriter was mechanically whole again. I spent a moment operating the levers, watching the symphony of steel. Finally, I polished the shell and put it back on, leaving the chips and scratches, part of its story. The typewriter looked proud and handsome, ready for the real test. Would it type? My heart pounded in my chest. This is what every restorer lives for. The final test. The moment when all the careful work and patience are put to the ultimate trial. Would the machine come alive again, or would it falter after all this effort? I fed a crisp, fresh sheet of paper into the machine, feeling the slight resistance as it slid into place. The new platen gripped it perfectly, holding it steady and true, just as it should. I placed my fingers on the home row keys, cool, solid, and wonderfully responsive beneath my touch. There was a sense of anticipation, a quiet pause before the first keystroke. I typed the classic sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." Each letter was a small victory, proof that the restoration was working. Click-clack. Each letter appeared crisp and dark, the ink transferred cleanly from the ribbon to the page. The sound was unmistakable, vivid, and alive. The sound filled the workshop, sharp, rhythmic, beautiful. It echoed off the walls, a melody from another era, and I paused to listen, letting it wash over me. The carriage return lever moved smoothly, gliding with satisfying precision, and the bell dinged, a bright, cheerful note that signaled a new line. It all worked. The letters were perfectly aligned, the ink even and bold. Every detail was just as I had hoped. I typed another line. "This old royal typewriter lives again." And then, with a flourish, I added the date, marking the moment of its rebirth. The feeling is hard to describe. Pure joy, satisfaction, accomplishment. It's a quiet pride that comes from breathing life into something once forgotten. I took something forgotten and broken and gave it a second chance. The transformation was complete, and the journey was worth every moment. All those hours of work, the setbacks and small triumphs, were worth it for this moment of revival and connection to the past. It's a kind of magic, bringing the past into the present and letting its story continue, one keystroke at a time. Why do we do it? It's not just about making something work, it's about connection. Each time I sit down at my workbench, surrounded by the scent of old metal and oil, I feel a sense of purpose. There's a quiet magic in bringing something back to life that once seemed lost to time. Restoring an old machine connects me to the people who made and used it. I imagine the hands that first assembled these parts, the stories that unfolded with every letter typed. It's a bridge across generations, a way to touch the past. I thought of Mr. Henderson's father, the writer, and imagined him at this very machine. Maybe he wrote letters, stories, or even poems that shaped his family's history. The typewriter was more than a tool. It was a companion through countless hours. By fixing it, I was honoring his memory. Every careful adjustment felt like a tribute, a way to say thank you for the words and moments this machine helped create. These old objects have a soul, a story to tell. They carry the marks of time, scratches, worn keys, faded paint, all reminders of the lives they've touched. In a world of disposable things, restoring the past teaches patience and appreciation. It's a slow process, but it's worth every moment. You learn to value craftsmanship, to respect the effort that went into making things that last. When I brought the typewriter back to Mr. Henderson, he was speechless. His eyes lit up, and for a moment it was as if he was reunited with an old friend. I typed his name, and the sound filled his living room, just like his father's office. The familiar rhythm echoed memories that had been tucked away for years. It brought back memories, smiles, and a sense of time travel. That's the real reward. Seeing someone reconnect with their past is a gift that can't be measured. Now, the old royal sits ready to type again, a bridge to the past. It waits patiently for new stories, ready to inspire another generation. It's a reminder that the stories and memories of those before us are still with us. Every keystroke is a thread connecting us to those who came before. Sometimes, you can hear them in the proud, defiant click-clack of a restored vintage typewriter. That sound is history echoing into the present. Keeping history alive, one project at a time. That's what it's all about. Each restoration is a small act of preservation, a way to ensure these stories are never forgotten.